Dimitri and Edelgard are two of the most divisive lords in all of Fire Emblem, and they both have some kind of background for why they might be considered a fallen hero, so naturally both of them were included on the Fallen banner this year. However, one of the Three Houses lords was notably missing from this banner, and that's Claude, of course, because in Three Houses, there's no route where he could really be considered any kind of a fallen hero. But I got to thinking, what could possibly make Claude turn over to the dark side? How could he become a fallen hero? And that's the premise of this video. So we're going to talk about Fallen Claude as a unit, his stats and his skills, and basically I'm just going to explain what I think could be a lore reason for this kind of hero. At the end of the Verdant Wind route, one of the major accomplishments that Claude and the other Golden Deer are able to achieve is that they go over to Shambhala and defeat those who slither in the dark, who are led by Thales. And essentially they free Fodlan from the grasps of this shady underground organization that's been operating for hundreds of years. As we all know, in all of the routes, Byleth is considered the one driving force that allows all of the three lords to essentially achieve their goals, but what if Byleth hadn't picked Claude's house? What if in a different route, Claude and the rest of the Golden Deer try to go to Shambhala and defeat Thales on their own? And what if they lost? Now, Claude owns the Crest of Regan, which makes him a fairly valuable specimen. So what if he was captured by those who slither in the dark and experimented on, and what if he was possessed by them and turned into an evil puppet? That is essentially the premise of this hero. And this absolutely stunning art that you see of Fallen Claude over here was commissioned by me from @DreamingTactics on Twitter. Thank you so much, Sky, for drawing this for me. I'm so happy with how it turned out, and it is honestly better than I could have even imagined. I love the purple flames, I love the look on his face, I love the arrow. I just love it so much. Thank you so much. I decided to make Fallen Claude's title in FEH the King of Ruin, and that's basically a play on the fact that his legendary version is called the King of Unification. So I thought it would be cool to call him the King of Ruin in his Fallen version. And honestly, I personally just think it sounds super cool and menacing. He's got a colorless bow as a weapon because, of course, what other type of weapon could he possibly be in FEH? And I decided to make him an infantry for a little bit of variety in his movement type, since he's currently got 2 flyers and 1 cavalry unit. And armor just didn't really seem to fit. Now let's talk about what Fallen Claude would look like as a unit. Since Fallen Claude is an infantry bow, I've decided to give him 171 BST, which is the same as young Innis. He's got 44 HP, 38 attack, 42 speed, 30 defense, and 17 resistance. And if you look at his legendary and brave versions, they both have very similar stat lines. Both of them have got defense and res in the low 20s, and I wanted to make this unit a little bit unique from them, so I did give him a lot higher defense than resistance. But both his attack and speed are both quite high, just like his brave and legendary versions. And that really works with the overall theme of this unit, which is very much a hit and run and retreat unit. I decided to give him the same treatment that Fallen Dimitri and Fallen Edelgard got in terms of the preferred weapon and the preferred B skill, and he also comes with a full kit of really good skills just like they did. His weapon is called Twisted Bow, and it grants attack +3, is effective against flying foes, and at start of turn, if unit's HP is 100% and unit is not adjacent to an ally, deals 1 damage to unit and nearest allies within 3 spaces of unit. And then if unit's HP is less than 100% at start of combat, grants attack speed +6 to unit during combat, and neutralizes effects that prevent units' follow-up attacks. So what this means is that he's got an effect very similar to Winter Bernadetta's, but he needs to be solo at the start of the turn in order for this to activate, and it deals 1 damage to the nearest allies within 3 spaces of unit. So it's not everybody within 3 spaces, it's the nearest allies. And it's also giving him attack speed +6, just like Winter Bernie's weapon gave, and the extra effect is not damage reduction like Winter Bernie, it's actually half of null follow-up. But honestly, it's the better half of null follow-up, at least as far as he's concerned. He's got Deadeye as his special, which is a pretty premium skill, currently only available on the CEO of Racism himself, so thank you to Levin for the idea of giving Deadeye to Fallen Claude, because maybe he's racist, maybe he learned from the CEO of Racism himself, Shinon. And I know they're from different universes, so it doesn't make sense thematically, but I still like it, and I thought it was pretty funny. And he also comes with Life and Death 4 as his A skill, which is a really good skill for him because his defenses are not that good anyway, and it makes his attack and speed higher. I initially wanted him to have attack speed catch 4 in the way that both Fallen Edelgard and Fallen Dimitri came with the skill that their legendary version introduced. However, I realized that I made Claude an infantry unit, so he can't actually run attack speed catch. So I decided on Life and Death 4 instead. Now let's talk about his B skill, which is called Dark Crest Power. And thematically, this is me imagining what if those who slither in the dark had actually experimented on his Crest of Regan and turned it into an agent of evil instead of an agent of healing like it actually is in real life. So it has, if unit initiates combat and unit is not adjacent to an ally, foe cannot counterattack, and after combat inflicts deep wounds on target and foes within one space of target. Now, we all know what Deep Wounds is. Deep Wounds is the more annoying part of Fatal Smoke, which essentially means that as long as he survives, Deep Wounds gets inflicted on the people around him. Now, I decided to make this only work on foes within one space of target instead of foes within two spaces of target, like the actual Fatal Smoke works, kind of to nerf it a bit because this does seem like quite a strong B skill, but basically he's getting Fire Sweep and Deep Wounds, which I honestly think is pretty good, but the fact that he has to be solo and the fact that he has to initiate combat means that there are certain conditions that you need to meet when using this. So I honestly think it is not stronger than Fallen Edelgard's B skill, but feel free to let me know in the comments if you disagree. As his C skill, I decided to give him Panic Smoke, and I think this syncs really well with the fact that he is a player phase unit with Fire Sweep, so he is almost always going to be surviving when he initiates, so Panic Smoke will manage to get off. And I feel like it goes fairly well with the Deep Wounds in his B skill as well, and it makes him a really powerful ARD nuke, but also a pretty good nuke to use on AR offense. Overall, this version of Fallen Claude is really strong, I'll admit it, he is super strong. But, like I said, I don't think he's stronger than Fallen Edelgard, although I do think he would be really annoying on a return trap style team. He does have to start out solo, but there are definitely ways to make that happen on an ARD team. So yeah, he would be able to deal 1 damage to himself and probably other people around him as long as he's solo, and that would be able to set off a return or rescue trap. And after that, it is pretty hard to kill him with the Fire Sweep in his weapon. He doesn't have damage reduction though, and he only has half of null follow-up, so technically if you have null C disrupt and are able to live 2 hits from him, if you have quick riposte or something, you can kill him back because he is quite frail. However, you do need a pretty dedicated counter to be able to take on a unit like this. Before I end off this video, I just wanted to say thank you again so much to Sky, who is at Dreaming Tactics on Twitter, for drawing this lovely commission for me and being so amazing throughout the whole process. Honestly, their art is some of the best art I've seen out there, so please do go check out their Twitter. I love it. Thank you so much, Sky. And thank you guys for watching this little self-indulgent video about me basically theory crafting a fallen version of my favorite hero in FEH. Let me know in the comments what you think of this unit, whether you would pull for him, because I would definitely try to +10 him. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching once again. Bye!